you hire Marcel Yates in the first place? What qualities did you see?
Well, I saw those qualities 7 years ago, and
that's what I meant.
Yeah, you know, when moving into a new league, he was well respected. You know, as a technician, as a coach, and a recruiter. And to me, you know, to be successful, you know, at this level, you can't just have a guy who's an X and O's guy, or this guy's just a recruiter. I think the game has gotten, and the competitive nature of it has gotten too strong. So, you know, he had those qualities early, and he came in my office and said, "Hey, look, I got the opportunity to be the defensive coordinator at Boise. You know, I went to school there, and you know, we let him out of his contract to do that. And you know, he's grown through that, and then coming here and watching and just listening to how he's done things. You know, I think you know, he has grown a lot. I think the players trust him. I think with a young team, you know, you have the opportunity with continuity to be better. And you know, he's a guy that I've known for a while. And when you walk into a situation like this, and I think with a young team, change is hard, but some continuity is valuable. And particularly with young guys that are going to be in the same system in the second year, and he brings that to the table.
You mentioned it in there, but what's maybe going to be the key for you guys in recruiting Arizona and keeping guys home that have generally kind of left, especially at the top tier?
Well, they've left to come to somebody, you know. So I think, you know, I don't say that. I mean, it's true. And so, you know, it's about relationships. I think, you know, we've had those relationships. We got to grow those relationships still. Does it make it easier because you're closer? I don't know. But those relationships are still in place. So I think every place is unique. What you have to do is, you know, make sure that those coaches, those prospects are comfortable with being on your campus. And we've got to work in the next 2 weeks to get that done. Make sure those coaches are comfortable with getting on our campus, you know, throughout when we get to spring and the spring football, and continue to grow those relationships and really show those guys that have been here or guys who haven't been here what this university is all about. And it's just been my experience, the more those guys are comfortable with you, more families, it's about relationships, more families, more coaches, you know, the better chance you have to have that young man on your campus for not just for a visit, but for 4 or 5 years.
Ideally, when do you have a staff together and are able to kind of move forward with that?
Well, I think here in the next week, you know, we're going to try to get a core of guys together, you know, probably 3 or 4 guys on, you know, offense and defense, so that we can recruit. Some guys are, you know, a little bit more difficult than others. You know, at this point, you know, so, you know, I think that hopefully by this weekend, you know, if we're going to have official visits, instead of piling everybody up at the end, that we can have, you know, a good core of coaches that can get out and get me around to see the 16 guys that have signed, because they're just as important, you know, that maybe I haven't talked to, maybe a couple of them I had, but I haven't really been in front of them as the head coach at Arizona yet. So I think it's important for me to get in those homes, see those parents, reassure these guys of what we're doing. And then with the 5 or 6 we've got left, you know, make sure what that looks like from an evaluation standpoint, and see what we can do there. So along with, you know, evaluations of juniors and sophomores. So other than that, and hiring the staff, and looking for a place to live. Other than that, I got nothing to do in the next couple of weeks.
In today's college football world, do you have to leave open a couple spots for potential grad transfers?
You know, it can be. You know, we've got to assess where we are. I think those are gambles sometimes. You know, we've had success obviously with Trevor Knight. you know, in that situation. We had another offensive tackle last year that we utilized, maybe as the sixth guy, but yeah, like I said, I've got to do a thorough job of evaluating the roster. I think all coaches are different. You know, everybody has their, you know, 40, whatever, however you do it. You know, do you go 40, 40, and 5? Do you go 41, 41, and 3 when you're talking about specialists? And then whatever that is, what are those positions from a depth standpoint? So I've got to evaluate where that is, and then say, all right, how can we get to the numbers that we want based on, you know, the positions we have on offense, defense, and special teams. And that's really difficult to do without being at practice. You know, you can go through numbers and you can have a, you know, and sometimes, you know, guys are you're counting them as a number, and sometimes they're not that number. Sometimes, you know, they're a different position, or you're going to move people, and so, you know, I have an idea of what those numbers look like, but I think each coach is a little bit different in their roster and the way they set it up, and so I don't know if that's you know, I got to see where that is.
Guys, we gotta
Yeah.
stop.
Okay.